Yeah, and I will share a screen. Great. So uh, I suggest that everybody should see my screen with the feedback of that screen right now. Yeah, everything good.
All good.
Okay, great. So now I need to check a mail to find how to download. I just write the mail to the Rinaldo who has helped me to understand how to download the Substance Painter for student license. Yeah. Now I need to find the mail to just check. Huh. So basically, it's a main Substance 3D web page. There should be education mode for that. If I just write here education, yeah, it should be over here. So I will share a link in our chat. So you guys could download the program and get your free license here by using your info from your university, from your school, I think. Yeah. So Ronaldo gave me that link for you to use it. Actually, me myself, I can't use it because I'm not personally part of university of your school, but I have a Substance Painter, and yeah, I think if you will have some problems with license, you also will need to contact with Ronaldo, I think, or somebody who provide a licensing in your site. But okay, let's come back to our model. What we have here, yeah, this is our building. It's already unwrapped. And for those who not actually seen the last lecture or maybe just stuck somewhere, I suggest to download that unwrapped model to work with because it's a pretty complex work to unwrap everything clearly. Yeah, and if you done something wrong, it could be a problem to texture it in the end. So yeah. Yeah, now I will just show you how to prepare the model. Maybe let's wait for everybody who will not download the software. You need to download it first, and after that you will register your license. I suggest to download the software. You should go maybe here. Yeah, you can just download the 30 days free trial. I think that should be enough for for the basics. But keep in mind that we need to have not the Substance Designer but the Substance Painter. So let me just find where the Substance Painter is. If I will go here, try to download it, for example. Yeah, after that I have a launcher. So yeah, basically when you download the launcher, you will need to install the Substance Painter from the launcher. Everything else we don't need to have for now, we just need to have this Substance Painter to work with. So yeah, and as we record everything right now, maybe I will start to show how to prepare our model for texturing phase. So this is our model. The first thing, we need to check the unwrap, that everything is correct here. Everything, place it in this square of UV map. That means that we could start to export model to have it import into Substance Painter. So first thing what I need to do is to export model like that. So basically I using the export selected because sometimes you will have a lot of different things in the scene. Basically that's why it's much more easier to just select your object with the object mode like that, and that will give you a chance to export only selected object like that. So we will export it. I will prepare a new folder, lesson 6, and give it a name like a house texturing. So in the geometry tab, when you export everything, you just need to put the checkbox on the smoothing groups. That means that your smoothing groups, that hard edges between the angles, will be automatically exported with your model. This one we don't need to have, and sometimes it's good to have this preserve edge orientation. That will give you a chance to have the same pivot point position after exporting. So yeah, let's export it. Sometimes there is some warnings or errors, but most of those you just can ignore those because there is a lot of possibilities to have issues before after you export your model. So after you export your model, you will need to go to Substance Painter. Yeah, and in Substance Painter we will need to create a new file. So there is the same tabs here as in any programs. In the File tab there is a new, Open recent files, and Open samples. We will need to have a new. So when we select a new project, there is a lot of different templates of the settings you can choose, but I think that we will just select the PBR metal roughness setting. If you will find, if you will just drop down that menu, you will find this PBR metal roughness algorithmic shader. So that will give you a chance to use that shader from the beginning. Otherwise you can just change it during the project in another menu. So we will select the 2000 pixels as our document resolution and just add our FBX model, which should be exported from the 3ds Max. I need to find that our lesson 6 folder. It's over here. Strange. Yeah, okay. So you will see if the file is correct, you will see the name here. Yeah, and if you will have another maps, we could provide it over here, but it's not important. The most important thing is to add your file here when you create a new project. So yeah, right now we add our building here, and I suggest that the viewport interfaces here is slightly different from the 3ds Max. Let me just talk a little bit about how to control your model. Basically, if you will press on Alt and use a middle mouse button, you can just move it. If you will just press Alt and use the left mouse button, then you can rotate it. If you will just use left mouse button, you can select the size of your brush to work with. So basically what you need to know is to use an Alt and middle and left mouse button. So let's begin. Right now we see here our building in a 3D view, and let's just run through the interfaces. Basically we will not use most of interfaces here because most of the interfaces usually use it with the graphical tablet to just draw on top of your model something like that, but we will just use another methods for texturing. So basically we will use a masking. We will just select the objects with different materials and put the masks over the roof, over the walls, and so on. So here is the size of your brush. But if somebody of you have a graphic tablet, you can just try to play around with that software because it's really fun to use to texture your 3D models with the brush. So but if you don't have a brush, we definitely don't need to use that part of the screen at all. Here you can see in a texture set list, here is the names of your materials. Do you remember I showed here in a 3ds Max this material editor? So basically when you export your model, you can just prepare for example empty material, give it a name here, and this name means that this is the name of that material assigned to your object, and when you export your object, this information will be also inside in your model, and you will find the material names over here. But basically you can change it. We will change it to the house texturing like that, and that means that this is our material and we have only one to work with, and I suggest that this should be enough for us. So basically from this moment I not really like to watch on the concept art. I just want to free your mind to do whatever you like. Basically for us right now it's important to have a base, like a base texture. Here you can see we we have a layers tab. If you lose this layers tab, you always could find it here in a Windows tab. You can just use a view and find here the layers, and you can just turn on or turn off it like this. Basically, this is most important part of the screen for us to work with, because the most of the actions will be over here in the layers. Layers means that this is the part of the textures which should be overlapped with each other. And now I will show you how the layers work here and the best methods to work with the layers. For example, if I want to put concrete walls, I will just put a concrete in the base color blending option. You don't need to change anything over here. Just place by default I suggest it should be with the base color. And now when you put any kind of material from here, this is a shelf. I forgot to mention about that. The shelf means this is kind of library of everything what you have installed in your software. Maybe you will not have so many as I, but I suggest that you should have a lot of different texture already prepared for work with the model. In the materials here, you will find most of the materials which you could use for texturing. For example, I use it here, concrete. For us, it doesn't matter what to use, but let's just keep moving a little bit close to the realistic view. If you want to zoom in and zoom out your work, you can use scrolling to do that. And yeah, once again I will just repeat my actions. So from the shelf, in the material tab, you just need to have a concrete material and drag and drop it in your layers. That means that you assigned this shader, this material, to your model. But right now I don't like to use this shader for my building, roof, for the ladder, for the wooden parts. I suggest to add some masks to these places. To add the masks, I will just use that button here. So you'll find in the layers this square with the circle inside. So by pressing on it, you will see another drop down menu here, and you can use different type of masks, but we will just use black masks from the beginning. Now you can see that we don't really have anything visible on our model. From that point you can start to use your paintbrush to just put some visible parts on your model, but for us it's kind of tricky because we don't have a tablet. We will use this option, polygon fill. If we will use that polygon fill and go into the mask here, this blue square means that we choose a mask. If you will just click on this square from the left part, this means that we select the layer. We don't need to do anything with layer right now. We will just go to the mask. So you need to click on the mask here and just take care to put the color of your polygon fill to the white, because we need to choose the white places as the places where we will see the texture through the mask. Now I will show you how it works. So basically, when we select here the white color, you need to just select here the polygon fill, because there is a different type of methods how to fill. For example, if I will use the UV chunk fill, that means that we will just we will fill the places which is stitched out from the UV shells. I don't know, maybe for you it's pretty tricky to just understand what I'm talking about, but let's just use this polygonal fill. It's much more simpler. You just select the polygons which you want to fill with the white color, and that means that you just fill the masks with the white color. Okay, so here is another drop down menu. If you will press here, you will see a lot of different types of viewport. Right now we will see everything in material view. That means that all the shaders, everything work correctly, and if you will press a shift and the right mouse button, you will just have a chance to rotate the light source to see how everything looks with the different lighting. So basically, if you will go here and press the mask on the tab, you can see how our mask actually looks like. All the white colors right now is transparent on the black mask. That means that everything with the white colors will be seen on our model. Everything with the black colors will be not seen on our model. That's how the mask actually works. For example, if I will just use the mask here and here, and now switch to the material view, you can see that I will put the texture in these two parts. Basically, yeah, let's just go back to the several steps. So yeah, and now we can just continue to add another places. I suggest maybe that's enough for the wall and for the concrete. I want to add a concrete only on that walls. So now I will go over here in the material instead of mask, and here in the material tab we have a scale. Scale means that how many times the texture will be dialed, and you can just play with that. Scroll here to see the best results, how the best results for your model, how to work. Yeah, sorry, I need to just reply to the working message right now. So yeah, I'm here right now and can continue to work. Okay, so when I'm happy with the concrete part of the building, now I can just start to do something else. For example, the roof. Yeah, let's just maybe play with their roof, and I'm not sure that I want to have a pretty realistic roof. I'm not sure that there is actually some kind of texture for roofing. Yeah, there is nothing. Okay, let's see what could be cool to have on the roof. Basically, let's use maybe something like a red wood, for example. Okay, because I want to have a red roofing, and it should be really interesting to work with. Once again, when I add this material from the shelf to the layers, it works for everything on our model, but we will need to add it only on the roofs. That means that we also add a black mask here, and after that we will just add polygon after polygon masking on these places like this. Yeah, basically usually we don't work this way. We try to find the better roofing materials somewhere in the internet, but right now I suggest to work only with the stuff which we have inside our shelf of the Substance Painter. It will be much more easier. Also, we have a roof here, but you can see that the tiling is wrongly placed. For example, these lines over here going that way, but these lines over here going horizontally, and I want to fix that. To fix that thing, I need to duplicate that layer. So the first thing, I just create a duplicate for it, put the black mask here, and now when I just put this mask here to see what I have on that layer, I will just close that previous layer to understand that if I just select this one, I can go inside in our material setting by pressing on material. You can see this blue square means that you right now select the material, and by selecting it you can just change here a lot of different options. For example, rotation. Right now I need to rotate the texture to 90 degrees like that, and you can see that if I rotate it to 90 degrees it will work fine for my model. So yeah, something like that. And the same thing with that part. Just you need to double check what kind of flyer you select and what kind of mask you select. For example, right now my layer is selected and I can't do anything with my model. This could be frustrating, and sometimes you don't understand what's happened here, but just watch here. You need to select your mask first, and after that make sure that your polygon fill is selected and this polygon fill over here also is selected. And now you can just put your mask one by one, polygon by polygon over here. but I don't like this tile again. Then I will just use a Ctrl Z to undo that actions and go back to the previous mask. And here you can see that I have the same tiling vector as I have here. Yeah, and I will use it something like that, maybe even like that. Oops, no. Okay, polygon by polygon. So yeah, now I will add polygons here. Great. Okay, let's try to figure out what kind of other settings we have here. Here we have a fibers setting. Strange that nothing happened here when I use this fiber. And roughness. Roughness means that how actually your roof will be shined from the lighting. You can see that if we will go to the black color, your roof should be really shiny, and if we will go to the white, your roof should be not so shiny at all. And the layers here means that you can just randomize the layers of your wooden texture, how you like to see it. There is a lot of different stuff like contrast, hue shift, saturation, which you can play with to see the best results, how you prefer to see that material. So basically what I have done here, I just replace a wood roughness a little bit because I don't want to have it too shiny. Sometimes it looks really cool to have a shiny models, but I prefer to make it not so shiny, like this. And the same thing I need to adjust over here. I will just remove a shininess and just add a little bit of saturation. Okay, I think that I already like this type of roofs here and here, and now we will go to the wooden parts. I want to put the wood over here, and over here. So yeah, I suggest maybe to use wood from material. Let's try to find some wood. Okay, let's use a wood walnut. Once again, I just drag and drop it over here. You can see that right now all this building is overlapped with that layer. And what's really cool with that material, you can just change the color of it, like that, for example. I want to add a much more brighter color for wood, something like that. And now I will add a black mask again. So let's get back to the polygon fill and just fill that parts. Okay, so you can see that tiling here is going wrongly. Like we will have the tiling here in this direction and here in that direction. Then I will just not do that. But let's check over here. Yeah, here is the right direction, here is also right direction, here is wrong. And I will do the same thing as I have done with the roof. When the direction is wrong, we just need to prepare a new layer and rotate the tiles of that layer. So let's just have a duplicate, go here, rotation I will put 90 degrees, black mask, and just add this texture over here and over there. Yeah, and now we have two textures with the vertical direction and with her horizontal direction. For a vertical direction, sometimes I need to select that layer, and sometimes I need to select another layer. I will show you why this actually thing is happening. Here in this top part, you can find this slightly transformed rectangular here. If you will press on it, you can just choose a 3D and 2D view to see your actual unwrap. Yeah. And over here you can see that let's just close that window and open that. You can see that this part actually place it vertically, and these parts place it horizontally. That means that if we will try to unwrap it with the same textures, they will be represented with the same directions, even if they unwrap it differently. So that means that sometimes we will just need to rotate our unwrap or just rotate our texture in the model. So I prefer to rotate the texture because it's really hard to understand all the directions of your unwrap tilings. And yeah, so right now I will try to just texture that window over here. Yeah, you can see that most of the parts have not the same direction as I would love to see. Yeah. And now I will go to another layer here and just fill everything with this color. So okay, that means that almost all the wooden parts is done right now. Let's just texture this part also as a wooden. Yeah, I suggest that it should be wooden part also, like this. I will not prepare here these places correctly, but usually it's really good to have something like a wooden part is cutted, but I think that it's pretty tricky right now to do that. I will just show you the simplest way how to use the texture. So yeah, right now you can see that we already have most of the wooden part already. And the frames of the window, I suggest to have it with the same textures like that. So yeah, basically I think that maybe let's have a small pause for 5 to 10 minutes, because I feel like oh, I see that something going on here. So okay, I will come back in 10 minutes. Right now I need to have a small cup of